friends! Today I'm showing how to make tapered ornaments in 3 simple steps using IOD molds.
According to AI, a key point is that many of the IOD holiday release products, including many of the molds, are limited release. This means that once they are sold out, they may not be restocked. Click on the dialog box below this video to see where Gail bought these molds on sale. All materials are listed below.
What's super cool about the IOD molds are not only do they have detailed images that are very sculptural, they also have a rim around them, so if your resin goes over the edge, it's easier to cut with scissors because the resin's going to be thinner where that edge is. Also, there's a measurement in milliliters out to the side of each ornament to let you know how much material you need to fill that mold. For these 7 ornaments, we'll need 190 millimeters of resin. I like to mix up 200 milliliters with equal parts resin and hardener.
100 milliliters of resin plus 100 milliliters of hardener equals 200 milliliters of resin.
Let's begin with these 3 simple steps.
Step 1 is to mix and pour the resin.
Make sure to have a silicone mat underneath your molds before you pour it, so that way if anything happens, it's easy to clean up. Also, read the directions of the epoxy you're using. There's a variety of epoxies ranging from a 15-minute to 24-hour curing time. I'm using a 24-hour curing time resin. This is one of the cheaper ones I found that dries clear and works well for this project. This resin should be poured and cured between 73 and 77 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm also heating up the resin and hardener in warm water for 15 minutes.
Before pouring the resin, use protective gear, including gloves, goggles, and a respirator. Even though there are no polycarbonate plastics and volatile organic compounds in this brand of resin, keep small kids and pets in a separate area and work in a well-ventilated room. Otherwise, fumes will travel near the floor.
My silicone cup should measure at least 200 millimeters. I have my mark for 100 and 200 millimeters, so I know how much resin and how much hardener to pour. This $10 box of epoxy resin by Yeho is 32 ounces, which can make 28 ornaments total. These stir sticks and eyedroppers came with my silicone cup kit. For easier cleanup, you can use disposable plastic cups, wooden skewers, and popsicle sticks instead. I'm adding part A, which is the resin, to my cup. I'll fill it up to 100 millimeters. Next, I'll add part B, the resin hardener, and fill that up to 200 milliliters. I'll stir it for 4 to 6 minutes. I like to keep the stick inside the epoxy and stir it slowly to avoid more air bubbles. I'll stir it for about 2 minutes before I add the mica powder. Using a jumbo popsicle stick, I add about 3 scoops of mica powder. It's best to add the mica powder slowly. I add 1, stir it a little bit, add the second, and so forth. I'll continue to stir it for another 4 minutes. After I stir it for 6 minutes, I let it sit for a couple of minutes and let air bubbles rise to the surface. Lightly stir it again and repeat this process about 4 to 8 times until very little air bubbles are coming to the top. Once the air bubbles are hardly visible, it's ready to pour. I'm double checking my molds to make sure there's no dust or debris inside the molds. I'll slowly start to pour from one end to the next. Sometimes I'll pour from both ends. It just depends. The most important thing about pouring your resin is make sure your table is level. If it's off ever so slightly, the resin will escape from the molds over time and create a hot mess. Yep, been there and done that. At this point, take a wooden skewer or something pointed and push all of the resin into the little nooks and crannies that are still showing so that the whole mold is covered before moving on to the next mold. Oh, I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite parts. I just love pouring the resin and watching how all the colors start to come into the center and create the central line. It reminds me of wood and it's just so gorgeous. And the cool thing is you get the same results over and over again. Here's what it looks like after several minutes. Remember to keep the temperature 73 to 77 degrees for the next 18 to 24 hours, and then you can demold them. It's about 20 hours later, and now I'm ready to demold. I bend my molds back and forth a little bit, then it's easy to release them. It will take a full 48 hours for them to fully cure. Therefore, they still might be a little bit bendable. If they do not cure, there are at least 4 reasons why this occurs. Number 1 is allowing water to get into the resin. Number 2 is not having the right ambient temperature throughout, which should be 73 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Number 3 is combining incorrect resin ratios. It should be half hardener and half resin. And number 4 is not mixing it long enough. It should be mixed for 4 to 6 minutes. This is it for step 1. Steps 2 and 3 are fast and easy. When I'm cleaning up, I do not throw the resin down the sink because it can ruin the pipes. Therefore, I leave a stick inside the silicone cup up against the side, let it dry for 24 hours, and then I can pull it out like this. Then I just kind of move the silicone around on the inside to break up the rust. If I do want to use soap and water to wash it out, I use a strainer to catch the leftover pieces so it doesn't go down the drain. If I accidentally overfill my molds like you see in this video, I just let it dry and cut it off later. The only time I like to clean up resin before it dries is if I'm concerned that it's going to get on something other than my mold and my silicone mat.
Step 2. Rub a brush on highlights with decorative wax. The wax can be rubbed on with your finger or old brush.
Typically, I use Rub and Buff silver, gold, and copper waxes to rub on my ornaments, sticking generally with one color for each ornament. However, you can mix them up a little bit. I just find that I like the overall look using one color for each ornament. And I'm just taking an old brush, sticking it right inside the tube and lightly brushing it on. And you can see how quick and easy this is. This is real time. And I've almost finished one ornament in the time I've been talking. Most waxes will fully cure within 24 hours. At the end, I wash off my brush with soap and water.
Step 3. Add a spoon jewelry bail and string or ribbon hanger.
To make the hanger, I'm gluing the spoon jewelry bail on the back of my ornament. I'm using B7000 glue. It's a really cool glue because it has a very fine point. This glue is often used in jewelry making, such as gluing on gemstones and jewelry bails. I build up the glue on the spoon and glue it on the back of the ornament. This glue takes time to dry. After I add on the bail, I leave it alone for a good hour before I move it. One major feature that I like about this glue is it has a needle in the cap, which prevents the glue tip from clogging.
These beautiful tapers make great Christmas gifts. Imagine receiving one of these ornaments a day from a secret Santa and ending up with a set at the end of the exchange. We are offering these sets to our families and friends and asking them to choose their favorite set. You are most welcome to make and use our choices as well. It's never too early to think about homemade gifts for our loved ones.
And cheers! Happy holidays!